Elon Musk turning on Donald Trump today comes after Donald Trump turned on the man who chooses Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices. Last week, Donald Trump posted, "I was new to Washington, and it was suggested that I use the Federalist Society as a recommending source on judges. I did so openly and freely, but then realized that they were under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard Leo, a bad person who, in his own way, probably hates America and obviously has his own separate ambitions. He openly brags how he controls judges and even justices on the United States Supreme Court." Joining us now is Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, and the Budget Committee. He's the ranking member on the subcommittee of the Judiciary Committee on federal courts, which held a hearing on judges today, federal judges. Senator Whitehouse, I want to begin with Elon Musk's new description of the Trump budget bill, but I am really eager to get to what appears to be an area of agreement that you might have with Donald Trump about his other new enemy, Leonard Leo. But what does it mean, do you think, in the United States Senate that Elon Musk is telling Republicans in the Senate not to vote for this?
Well, it's a huge stressor for the Republicans because they're already having trouble trying to get together. My guess is that they're hearing from Republicans in the House, hey, we had to vote for this stupid thing, but I'm in real trouble. If it passes, you've got to clean this up. They've got members who don't want sections of the bill. They're probably somewhere between 8 and 12 Republican senators who have real problems with this bill of one kind or another. And now adding to all those predicaments, they have this sort of bombshell accusation from Elon Musk. And if he chooses to back it up with his previous threats to put a bounty on the head of Republican candidates in primaries and like, whoever wants to run against him, here's 20, 50, whatever $1 million, that could really gum up the election prospects in the Senate. So this is something that I think is going to be a pretty bitter pill for them to swallow from old Elon.
Yeah, and we've all been waiting for this moment when the Trump-Musk breakup occurs, but none of us could have predicted exactly how it would occur and what would be the at least the public area of disagreement, leaving aside the possibility that Donald Trump just plain fired him. But I'm so eager to.
It's kind of high school.
Go ahead, Senator. Sorry.
I said it's kind of high school, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. So Leonard Leo, Donald Trump is calling him a sleazebag. You have always used more elevated language than that on this program to say what I translated to be the same thing.
Yeah, this is, frankly, hysterical thing to see. Leonard Leo is the court fixer for basically the Koch brothers' political operation. There are a few other creepy billionaires in that affinity circle, but he has basically, this is the Supreme Court the dark money built. Leo is the fixer, and the creepy billionaires, primarily the Koch operation, but others, the ones who showed up in the Billionaire Gifts program for the amenable justices. By the way, Leo went on the trip with Alito, the billionaire jet and fancy fishing trip. Leo is in the painting with Harlan Crow, the sugar daddy for his pet justice, Clarence Thomas. Leo is like deep in the thick of all of this stuff. And Trump has suddenly blown up at him. And here's what it might reflect. Trump might be finally figuring out that his Supreme Court appointees weren't his Supreme Court appointees after all. They were the Koch operation Supreme Court appointees. He was told to appoint them by Leonard Leo and by his White House counsel, Don McGahn, both of whom are Federalist Society, Koch brothers, Leonard Leo operatives. So he could be pretty bloody livid now that he sees the court isn't doing everything that he wants, but it's doing everything that the fossil fuel billionaires want. It's like, I got played here. I got chumped here. And Trump does not like to be chumped. So this is a little bit like gang warfare between House of Trump and House of Koch. And the peace that was brokered with that Federalist Society so-called list that held Trump to the deal that they would get to appoint the Supreme Court justices in return for them laying off on him in the 2016 election, because they were, you remember, they were clobbering him before that list solved the problem. This is, I mean, if you're like the FBI, you kind of have to love a gang war breaking out as long as no innocents are getting hurt. And so I feel a little bit like, yeah, you guys, you just keep fighting with each other. This is too good. And then, of course, the Wall Street Journal editorial page chimes in. This is a full-on right-wing billionaire mess up.
And what is the Wall Street Journal's role in all of this?
The Wall Street Journal has been shilling for the House of Coke, for the fossil fuel billionaire interests all along. I mean, within the last decade, they were still calling climate change a hoax. Every time you go after the judges, they gin up their editorial page to tangle. When they're in real trouble, they put somebody like Sam Alito in the Wall Street Journal editorial page to do a fake interview to try to get them out of trouble. And the person that they were getting out of trouble back then with the Alito interview was actually Leonard Leo, who we were pursuing to be interviewed by the Judiciary Committee. And Alito comes in to say that's all illegal. You can't interview this guy because that's like you're interfering in the court, omitting the fact that what we were going to interview Leo about was these gifts to Alito that Leo was involved in. I mean, it's just, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. And it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of guys. This is the court packers. This is the billionaire sneaks who ran a covert operation against their own country to try to take over the Supreme Court. And the fact that this row is fired up amongst the different right-wing miscreants is, I mean, it's beautiful.
And Republicans in the Judiciary Committee had a hearing today, apparently outraged that federal judges would ever issue rulings against Donald Trump as president.
Yeah, these are the same Republicans who cheered and actually sought nationwide injunctions against Joe Biden. And now that nationwide injunctions are happening against Donald Trump, and lots of them because he's a massive lawbreaker, they're shocked to find that there are nationwide injunctions going on. I mean, the hypocrisy borders on comedy, but you know, they've got a mission. They want to try to put the judges, create as much animus and threat pressure against the judges as they can. And so that's part of the hearing today. And they want to continue this sort of phony baloney narrative that Trump is the victim of judges rather than the lawbreaker that judges are blowing the whistle on, because that's their job when you're dealing with a lawbreaker.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you very much for running your tutorial on Leonard Leo on this program for years now, so that we were all ready today, or this last week, when Donald Trump finally turned on Leonard Leo, which was the plot twist that I did not see coming.
Too beautiful.
Right. Thank you, Senator.